Hey guys, I wanted to show you what a raid in Final Fantasy XIV actually looks like. So in Final Fantasy XIV, there are two different types of raids. You have alliance raids, which are 3 groups of 8 people, and you're going to take on multiple encounters, multiple bosses, waves of ads, mechanics, everything, all in one kind of longer raid format. You get to kind of go through different areas and instances, and they're super exciting, super cool. They all revolve around a certain theme. Then you have another type of raid, which is the raid that I'm going to show you guys now, where you have a raid. So in this case, it's Eden. And Eden has, in the first stage of it, has 4 different fights. And this is the 3rd fight in the raid. And you queue up for each of them individually. So this is, like I said, it's the 3rd fight. So it would be E3N. That means it's Eden. Stage 3 normal, and this one is called Inundation, and we're fighting Leviathan. So yeah, so basically what's happening, I am Lila F, I'm a Dragoon, I'm a DPS character. Our party breakdown is we have 4 DPS, we have 2 healers and 2 tanks, and I'm a Dragoon, so that's kind of my role, is to do DPS. So what's happening right now, this is Leviathan's temporary current, and he's going to cover about 90% of the platform with a giant AoE. And we're going to go to the corner, so he's going to do it again in a few minutes, or pretty soon. So here we have AoE, and then we have a second set of AoEs that we're going to have to dodge that are going to delay after a certain amount of time. So there, and now we have the second temporary current, so we're going to go to the alternate side this time. Basically, Leviathan's big thing is he's going to use a lot of AoEs to block off different parts of the platform, and at times he's going to destroy parts of the platform. That's going to limit our amount of space to be able to dodge AoEs and do the mechanics. He has a few other weird kind of skills, so I can't remember what this one does. So Rip Current always attacks, I think, the off tank, which is Kiori Goodfellow over there. And he'll have a few attacks like Tidal Wave. So Tidal Wave is a move that we're going to kind of go towards because that's going to push us to the opposite side. So we want to make sure we're close to it so we don't get knocked off the platform, because that would be instant death. So this move, Undersea Quake, he's actually going to break the 2 sides. We need to move to the middle, or else we would die there and those platforms would get destroyed. So now, as you can see, we have a lot smaller room to work. And later on, it's going to even be about half the size of this. So here we have AoEs, and then we have a stack up marker. So we're going to stack up so we can soak the damage together. The more people you have stacked up, the more the damage is dispersed over everyone, as opposed to one person taking the brunt of it. So here we're just kind of doing some DPS. Okay, we're going to move to the corner. And so with this raid, I actually hadn't done this in months. It's been quite a while since I've been played Final Fantasy XIV, but last night I decided that I was gonna get back into it with patch 5.2, and then right before I went to sleep, I decided to do Leviathan just for fun. So this is a move that's gonna attack everyone. It's gonna just do damage. The healers to heal through it. It's kind of whatever. It's just like a heal check. So my rotations are really terrible. I am being so suboptimal, it's not even funny. So we stack up here. So you can actually see the ants kind of like going around a skill. Shows the next skill in my combo. Okay, so those moves were each going to have an AoE. You saw one person had this like giant donut AoE. So they would actually stack up with another person so that we don't hit more people if they can find a free spot. That is a pushback move that around a central player. That's not a big deal right now, but later on when it's a smaller platform, it can be a lot more dangerous. And coming up, I think I die around like 50%. I read a mechanic wrong. So I was cycling through our players, so our team's on the left, as you probably noticed. And there's a tether between me and one of our other DPS characters, because we're actually going to split that damage, or we're going to increase each other's damage as long as we're close. So here, Leviathan is going to have these basically portals he's going to fly through, and then these spheres right here are going to expand over time. So we have to be careful that we don't get caught in them and get, I think it just causes more damage. It's like a damage increase, or damage taken boost. It's not too hard to avoid it. Tidal Roar is again just going to hit everyone. Now Rip Current's going to attack the off tank. So the off tank's going to move to left or right just so we don't get hit. If they're in the middle, we'd all get hit, and that would be no bueno. Let's see. So you have, like, you can see there's like 16 skills at the bottom. Those correlate to my like face buttons. So I actually forgot about the thing there. So here's Undersea Quake. I was supposed to move to left and right, and I forgot. I read it too late, so that's why I died. But luckily, in this instance, we had one of our DPS characters. Our last one is a Red Mage, and Red Mage is really cool in party utility because they are the only, I believe the only offensive like DPS class that can res people. So as you saw, both of our healers died. Our Red Mage is able to get one of them up and then get everything working again. So I waited to res because I didn't want to get in the first AoE, but I have a little bit of invincibility frames here because I haven't hit any action. As soon as I hit an action, I can take damage again. So he has just enough of time for my regen to pop and then the healer to get some health on me. But we're all good. Healers are going to get us all back up, and we're going to keep going. This fight really isn't that hard. You just gotta be quick. You don't want to be out of position, and that was what happened with me. Is instead of just moving back to the right side, I was trying to readjust the middle, and then just did the suboptimal movement. And as like I said, my first time in months, I was trying to remember what the call outs were basically for the different moves. So again, AoEs, we're gonna move, wait for them to hit, and then we're gonna go. So this is where we need to move to the middle because it's Undersea Quake. And you'll see if everyone lives this time. We have a time later on where we just get wrecked by it. So one thing that's interesting about Dragoon is they're on longer cooldowns, where I have these jump moves. They're on my left side. Two of them actually are up. I'm just not using right now because sometimes using them on this fight, because their map is kind of messed up, I've had instances where I have just straight flown off the map. So I actually screwed one of our other players right there because my donut did not stack up with somebody, and so it hit somebody. So that was on me. So here, temporary current, we're going to move to the corner. And you can see as the arena gets smaller, the amount of free space that we have is a lot smaller. So a lot of DPS classes also have things called directionals or positionals. So I have a few, but I'm not really worrying about them. If I was doing optimal, I have a move that allows me to not worry about them, but with that boss this big, the hitbox is so big I can't really go behind them. So I just don't really worry about it. It's normal. Maybe I'm supposed to be using my North Star to avoid that, but I didn't really worry about it. Like I said, after not playing for a while, I'm trying to like remember my rotation and remember the proper way to use my cooldowns and when they should be popped and everything like that to get the most damage, and I did a terrible job at it. So if you play Final Fantasy XIV, please don't judge me, because I, one, am not that good. And the purpose of this video is mainly just to show some friends what some of the encounters look like. Okay, so we dodged both of those. Leviathan's back in the middle. We're at 27%, so we are making our way through them. And this is a normal raid, so the Savage version is so much harder than this. I have not done any Savage. I'm not interested in Savage. I'm not the caliber player to handle it. Maybe one day, but for now, we're just gonna stick with normal, super cash. So just gonna enjoy it that way. And the main purpose for me doing this encounter, so I actually miss the movie in there. So there I see it. You can see the cast at the top where it says Undersea Quake. And we actually, one of our healers and two of our DPS got killed in that. So you can see it, we just gotta react quick enough. when you're watching your cooldowns and your different skills, it can be easy to overlook some of that. Really the name of the game with this particular fight, and a lot of fights honestly, is just being observant enough to make sure that you're not out of position. This fight can be punishing because it's instant death if you're wrong there, but honestly, yeah, when you get to high level bosses, I mean, a lot of things are going to be like that, but a lot will just give you like vulnerability up debuffs if you do the mechanic wrong. It's not really a big deal with this fight to my knowledge, and it really isn't too tough. It's just making sure enough people stay alive and we don't lose both our healers or something like that. I don't think there's an end rage. It's not too long of a fight, honestly. If we were on it, we probably could have done it a little bit quicker. Again, we're gonna move back to the middle here. I think everyone was safe this time. We're at 7%, so really it's just burn it as quick as possible. So you can see up in the kind of right and up to the corner of my skills, there's this gauge counting down 19, 18, 17. I think it's my dragon gauge or whatever. Since I'm a dragoon, as I use some of my jump moves, I get eyes, and that fills up and allows me to use some like other combo moves, and then it actually changes some of my skills into basically a stronger, more potent version, and unlocks a few other ones. So it's something I want to keep up. Like now it's red, so my your Skogul changes to Nestrond and just does more damage. So that's Leviathan. That's Eden's Gate on Inundation, which is E3N. And here I'm just gonna vote on what loot I want. I trade these in for raid gear, and I completely forgot what I had and didn't have, and I got lucky that I didn't get some of the things I voted for. I voted need on because I actually didn't need them. So yeah, that is what a raid can look like in Final Fantasy XIV. There's so many more options. There's so many amazing encounters in this game. In my opinion, the Alliance raids are the coolest content there is, but I didn't have the time to film one of those. So hope this was interesting and enlightening and that you enjoyed. Thanks.